I'm sitting here in Florida on the intercoastal with no problems. Why? Because my parents taught me how to be a father, how to be a grandfather, how to pass on the values of our families. And I know people like me, people love me, and people hate me. But guess what? Colors show. Colors show. Expect betrayal. Can you always trust who you're dealing with? Is everyone transparent with you? And people talk about timelines and dreams, and once I succeed this, once I achieve this situation, I've been there. I've achieved almost everything, seriously, what I've set out to do. I have more dreams. My life has been so good that I'm afraid it's going to end bad. And the only way it could end bad is if I go off track and if I fall to the temptations of the world. There are protests going on in the United States. There's riots going on in the United States. There's hate going on in the United States. All this shit. And that's the other thing that my parents taught me. Don't look for trouble, because you'll find it. There's another LaMannaism. You're looking for trouble, you'll find it. Another one that I have to tell you is about my father. I'm getting in the sun here. Another one, I was probably 19, 20 years old, and my father took me on one of his, what I would call the birds and the bees chats. But it was never about the birds and the bees. It was a breakdown. You know what a breakdown is? A breakdown is I'll break you fucking down until you realize you're human and you don't fuck with your father. In fact, my parents honored their mother and their father on both sides. Okay? Did I just hear gunshots? If I did, it's fucked up, man. That's why I'm hiding here. Okay? Now, this ride, my father, we always had station wagons. We got 11 kids, and the age is 20 years from the first to the last. Oldest son and the youngest son, close to 20 years difference. And we're all different. Believe me, we're all different. So can you imagine? My brother used to say, we're not a family, we're a tribe. So this ride, we're going to a high bridge in St. Paul, Minnesota. We're driving over this high bridge, and he's kind of preaching to me, lecturing me about I'm a bad boy. And while you're a bad boy, I'm going to say something, Rock. If you're going to jump off the high bridge, don't take your brother. Because he saw that I had 6 underneath me, 4 of them boys. And they might look up to me like I looked up to my older brothers. So there's a lot going on, man. And did my father have expectations of all of us? Yeah, of course, just like I do with my 3 kids. Yeah. So I just wanted to say that while I'm alive, while my dad's alive, even though I know he doesn't watch YouTube or social media, but my sisters pass it on to him. Look what Rock's talking about. Does my dad talk to me about it? Nah. But I wrote my memoir that included generations of our families, both the Italians and the Polish. And the bottom line is they're hardworking people. And they were brought up during the poor, during the Depression, during the Second World War, during Korea. My brother spent time in Vietnam. I mean, come on. How bad can it get? And everybody's got their own stories. Everybody's got their own families. And I was so fortunate to go through a divorce at 33 with 3 kids that I could call my own shot. My discipline, my inspiration, my example. I didn't have to deal with a mother. That was a blessing. That was a blessing. So, and then everyone pitched in. They knew my kids. I was from a broken family. I was a divorcee. Rock, you're a loser. But guess what? They never did that with the kids. They took my kids in, and guess what? My kids are stronger than hell. Now, what I've seen, I'm very proud of my kids. But I gave them as much as I could give them. Not 11, only 3. But I gave them as much as I can go. And now it's at the point in my life that I have 4 grandchildren, starting at 20, and the youngest is 6, 3 boys and a girl. And guess what? I'm staying out of the way so they could learn from their parents. And someday they might be on YouTube or a video saying, man, my dad was cool, my mom was cool, they're great people, and Papa Rock was nuts, but he was cool. Actually, I like that. because they know I talk the truth. So that's my story. You know, it's King's Weekend. And my father, during the 80s, loved Ronald Reagan because Ronald Reagan was pro-business. And we were going through tough times in our family business. My dad was a risk taker, though. He invested. Not only in his business, in the people and his kids, and his wife. And that's the other thing. My mom was very supportive of my father. And there's not many women, sorry to say, in my case, that supported my mission or my purpose. So that's all I wanted to say, is that you as a parent make a huge difference. Huge. And then as a grandparent, you got to stay out of the way and let the kids run their own homes. And here's the other thing that you have to learn as a married couple raising kids. You both got your own backgrounds, your own foundations. How to what should I say, raise your kids, your family values, your principles. And I always talk about politics. Politics is a big thing in a marriage. How many children you want, how you want to raise the children, what the discipline is. Finance is always huge. Religion is a must. How are you going to raise the kids? And not everybody's going to agree with me. Not everyone's agreed with my father. And my father's got over 110 descendants. And like I said, thousands of employees. And now the company's still going on after generations. And I was part of it, 20 years. I bought it and sold it. And now it's doing even greater. Well, that's how I feel. Great, fantastic. I was all part of it. Another LaMannaism, my father. Eventually everything comes to an end. Even life. You have to know when to let go. When my father sold the business, he sold the business. He never turned back. And he's on Social Security since he's 65. Social Security is as long as his career. So talk about values, integrity. You don't live this long without doing things intentionally, purposely, with integrity. You just don't do it. We all know God's got the calendar. We all know that. And I don't know where mine is, but, you know, I'm hoping that I got another 20 years because my mom's genes and my father's genes. But you don't live life without moderation. You got to live in moderation. Food is important. Alcohol, we can bypass. Drugs, you can bypass. Temptation is out. And they say that's a fun time. No, it's not. I've had good times, fun times. That's why my father would take me on these talks alone to straighten me out. You want to jump off the high bridge? Do it alone. That was 50 years ago, and it's still here. And I've passed this on. And my brothers and I talk about the LaManna-isms because it's already been scattered and sprinkled into the grandkids, and they laugh at us 11 kids. These guys are crazy. And they're laughing behind our back. I love it. I love it. So anyway, I'm just trying to let people know that I appreciate my parents. I appreciate my life and gratitude and respect. And as you get older, you look back at the history. I call it the foundation, your foundation of the families. And it should always get better. And as a grandparent, my grandkids, I want them to compound what my grandfather did, my parents did, I did, what my kids are doing to grandkids, and then pass it on for generations. So in other words, don't fuck it up. Okay, I'll talk to you soon. God bless. You'll be hearing more from me. You know I can't stop. I'm still going, day after day. So don't forget who's the king in your life.